to our economy's entire infrastructure. But some Washington politicians support policies that will cause America's most innovative companies to fall behind. These overreaching bills will strengthen our adversaries at a time when we're engaged in high-stakes competition. Who will lead the future, America or someone else? We must protect our competitive edge.
Dear Patrick, this is an exciting time in your life. It doesn't seem that long ago that I watched your first tournament. Just remember where you came from. You're lucky to play golf as your living, and I'm luckier still to see my son play at the highest level. I hope you realize just how proud I am. Love, Dad.
Can you be free of hair breakage worries? We invited Maho to see for herself that new Dove Breakage Remedy gives damaged hair the strength it needs. Even with repeated combing, hair treated with Dove shows 97% less breakage. Strong hair with new Dove Breakage Remedy.
Why is CVS Pharmacy America's choice for vaccinations?
Because we all got the COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot. And I can make the appointment right here.
Save time, schedule online. No wonder CVS Pharmacy is America's choice for vaccinations.
Britney Spears, 13 years under her father's control.
She believed that something illegal was happening.
The fight to get her life back.
The fans are the true heroes in this story.
Toxic. Britney Spears' battle for freedom. Tomorrow at 8.
First it's a pimple, then hyperpigmentation. Now I have Curology, a custom formula prescribed by a licensed provider with powerful ingredients selected for me. Because my skin is different, and now my skincare is too. Try 30 days free at Curology.com.
This isn't dry food or wet food. It's not burnt round pellets. The Farmer's Dog makes it simple to feed your dog real food. It's real meat and veggies. Freshly made, developed with vets, delivered right to your door. That's why dog lovers are choosing the Farmer's Dog. A smarter, healthier pet food. Delivered. Visit tryfarmersdog.com and get 50% off your first box of food.
At Fingerhut, we don't define you by your credit score, so we offer low monthly payments on things you need and brands you trust as you build your credit history with a Fingerhut credit account. You do you at Fingerhut.com.
Fingerhut credit accounts are issued by WebBank for FDIC.
Champions for Change, tonight at 8 on CNN.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We proudly help veterans with mesothelioma. Call for a free book. 1-800-822-0400 or go to Mesobook.com.
Jurors began their deliberations in R. Kelly's federal trial just yesterday. He's accused of exploiting girls, women, and boys for decades and is facing racketeering and sex trafficking charges.
Now, the jury deliberated about 4 hours before the case was adjourned for the weekend without a verdict, but they're set to resume Monday. CNN's Sonia Moak has more.
Boris and Christie, the jurors have already been deliberating for 4 hours starting Friday afternoon. They have the task of wading through evidence and testimony from 50 witnesses from the first 21 days of this trial. Now, some of the testimony they have heard has been incredibly disturbing. They've heard witnesses testify about sexual abuse and physical abuse and being directed to film videos of sexual encounters and humiliating acts by Kelly on his iPads and cameras, some of which were seized by federal agents. Some of those recordings which jurors saw in court as part of this trial. Now, multiple women testified that they were sexually abused by the singer when they were minors, young girls. They testified that Kelly knew their ages and had sex with them anyway, and even in some cases recorded these sexual encounters. Now, multiple women also testified about physical abuse at the hands of Kelly. One woman said she was just 16 years old when Kelly choked her to the point of passing out, and several women testified about chastising or spanking that often left them bruised or even bleeding that they said were punishments. Now, former employees of the singer and former live-in girlfriends testified about something they called Rob's rules, strict rules in place for his female guests and for dealing with his female guests. Multiple women testified that they were directed to stay in rooms at R. Kelly's homes and had to get permission from the singer himself or his associates before leaving the rooms, even to do something like get food or go to the bathroom. Now, R. Kelly's defense attorneys say those rules were in place because his home was also his recording studio, and he liked to record music at all hours of the night and needed to keep the studio secure. But prosecutors say these rules were actually methods of coercion used to control his victims and to keep members of his enterprise in line. That enterprise, prosecutors say, enabled the singer to exploit girls, boys, and young women for decades. And we expect these jurors to return here to Brooklyn Federal Court Monday morning to resume those deliberations. Sonia Mogi, Brooklyn.
Sonia, thank you for that. Coming up, the head of the CDC defending her decision to open up access to COVID boosters.
New records shattered. New legacies forged. CrowdStrike. We stop breaches.
This is Renee. Never heard of her? It's probably because she's not an influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker. Just look at the way she's reshaping and reimagining her 4-acre slice of heaven. It's not hard to tell she's the real deal. Renee runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because out here, you can't fake a job well done. Nothing runs like a Deere. Hear Renee's story at Deere.com.
How can we find the best climate solutions? We look for a light, one bright enough to inspire us all to work together. Right now, America's natural gas and oil companies continue to lower emissions worldwide, all while fulfilling essential energy needs. Together, we can keep the U.S. the world leader in reducing emissions. See how American innovation lights the way at energyforprogress.org.
This Halloween, we could all use a treat. The goblins, the grandpas, robots, and the giant pancakes. Because this year, the best house on the block is the International House of Pancakes.
What's the #1 retinol brand used most by dermatologists? It's Neutrogena. Rapid wrinkle repair smooths the look of fine lines in 1 week, deep wrinkles in 4. So you can kiss wrinkles goodbye. Neutrogena.
At Aspen Dental, we help you find your happy place, like milkshake mustaches, high fives, and high dives. Or 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s, and 1-on-1s. We see how these moments make us smile, so we make it easy to share your smile with safe and convenient care all in one place, with evening and weekend hours. Right now, new patients get a complete exam and x-rays free without insurance. Plus, everyone saves 20% on their treatment plan. Celebrate life's happiest moments. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL or book online today.
Join your favorite CNN anchors for a special night, sharing stories of change makers.
She's a champion for change.
Champions for Change, tonight at 8 on CNN. Sponsored by Charles Schwab.
If you're thinking to yourself, what can help me take advantage of today's low mortgage rates and save money? Here's your answer. Rocket can. You can save hundreds of dollars every month by refinancing with Rocket Mortgage at today's near historic low rates. If your current rate is over 4.5%, with today's low rates, you could lower your payment by over $160 a month, saving thousands in interest every year. With a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, you could consolidate and pay off high-interest debt, tackle home improvements that could add value to your home, or even set aside cash for your child's future education. The technology built into Rocket Mortgage makes it easy for you to get personalized loan options that fit your needs. We've already helped over 1 million clients just like you reach their home financing goals this year alone. So remember this, what can give you the technology to refinance easily and potentially save money? Rocket can. Visit rocketmortgage.com or call us today. Rocket.
My name is Paul Franzak, but who am I really?
Good morning and welcome to your new day. I'm Boris Sanchez.
Hi, Boris. I'm Christy Paul. COVID booster shots are available now for millions of you across the country. The bigger concern, though, is getting the initial shots into arms. The new round of mandates coming next week that could push the vaccination rate higher.
Plus, a stalemate. Democrats working through the weekend to resolve their differences over President Biden's spending bill, trying to keep his economic agenda afloat and avoid a government shutdown.
And the results of that sham audit in Arizona confirms yet again President Biden won that state, even though the truth prevailed. The question is, has the damage to democracy already been done?
And talk about awkward. Why two hosts of The View were asked to leave the set on live TV just minutes before they were set to interview Vice President Kamala Harris. We're so grateful that you are with us. Good morning. Appreciate having you. Good morning, Christy.
Good morning, Boris. It's always good to see you. Yes, thank you so much for keeping us company here today. So let's talk about the CDC director.
Yeah, Rochelle Walensky is standing by her recommendation to make a third dose of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine available for the millions of frontline workers who are at risk because of their job.
Members of our agency's vaccine advisory board voted against the authorization, but Dr. Walensky says the final decision is ultimately up to her.
I want to be very clear that I did not overrule an advisory committee. This was I listened to all of the proceedings of the FDA advisory committee and intently listened to this exceptional group of scientists that publicly and very transparently deliberated for hours over some of these very difficult questions and where the science was. This was a scientific close call, and I think you can tell by the duration of the meeting and the discussions that this was a scientific close call. In that situation, it was my call to make.
So the latest CDC data shows 75% of eligible Americans have received at least one dose of the vaccine. 32 states have now fully vaccinated more than half of their residents, but hospitals across the country are still stretched thin as severe infections among the unvaccinated continue to surge.
In central Massachusetts, where cases are rising, the area's largest hospital system says it's at a crisis point. It's so overwhelmed with patients, it actually ran out of ICU.
Now, just this morning, I talked to our transfer center. All 144 ICU beds that we have online are full or taken for patients that are coming out of the ORs. We have about 10 patients across the healthcare system that need ICU level of care that are either in the post-in seizure care unit, sitting at a community hospital trying to get to the academic medical center or in the emergency department. So it's been a very, very challenging situation for us now this past week.
So if somebody, say, had a heart attack or they were suffering from something other than COVID, what do you believe would be the wait time in an emergency room right now?
Well, for patients that are having a heart attack, they'd be brought right back in and they'd get the treatment that they need. The challenge is once you've taken care of that heart attack, open that artery, they then need to be in the ICU for constant monitoring. without a bed available in the cardiac care unit, they'll typically have to stay in the emergency department. And they'll get good care. The people there are capable of taking care of them, but it's not the same as being in the ICU where you have remote monitoring, you have your EICU team watching the patient, additional to the local team. So it's just a suboptimal situation.
I know that we all know what healthcare workers have been through just in the last year and a half here. You obviously see it with firsthand knowledge. You feel it. I have no doubt about that. I read an article talking about you and how you were told by one healthcare professional who confessed they were crying, they were in tears when they were on their way to work. What is your level of concern for the people you work with and people across this country in your field, not just short term, but long term at this point?
I'm mostly worried about the short term, and just because right now today, a nurse coming into work might not get to go home at the time they expect to go home. You're going to take care of really sick people, expect to leave at 4 o'clock, but yet be held for mandatory overtime because we just desperately need them. And while this is going on in our city, we have 600 nurses sitting on the sidelines and 100 beds offline. And that just adds to the stress of our team here at UMass Memorial that's trying to take care of those patients.
I know Massachusetts has one of the highest vaccination rates in the country, and COVID cases there are still really realistically lower, much lower than in other areas of the country. Can you put into perspective why even states that have done everything right, for the most part, are still having this struggle?
Well, I think the states that were hit hardest by COVID early on, where a lot of care was put off, is now seeing the pent-up demand for care. COVID reduced cancer screening by 90%. Cancer screening works, and so if you stop doing it by 90%, you're going to later see later stage cancers that are going to require even more care. And that's what's really driving this tightening of beds here in Massachusetts. COVID is a part of it, but it's a relatively small part of it compared to that pent-up demand for things that were put off during our 2 COVID surges here that we had to get through in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Eric Dixon, we appreciate you taking time to talk with us, and we are keeping all of you in our prayers because we just cannot imagine what it's like for you. Right now, and you're doing some of the most important work out there. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, all your caregivers.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Okay, switching over to the political arena here. Democrats are divided ahead of a key vote next week. They're throwing President Biden's economic agenda, let's say, in a bit of limbo, Boris.
Yeah, that's about right. Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House is going to move forward with plans to pass an infrastructure and a reconciliation bill. But the fact is, there are very sharp disagreements between moderate and progressive Democrats that threaten to derail that plan. CNN White House reporter Kevin Leptak joins us now live from the White House. Kevin, lawmakers working through the weekend to try to keep President Biden's economic agenda alive. Of the president himself spending the weekend away from the White House, but as we understand it, manning the phones.
Yeah, this is going to be a very intensive stretch for President Biden, and it's really not an overstatement to say that this is the most critical period for his early presidency. Basically all of his agenda is tied up in these 2 massive spending bills, and you put that on top of the stakes for the American economy when you think of the debt ceiling that needs to be raised, government funding that needs to be passed. This is a very important time for President Biden. And just to bring you up to date on what's happening this morning, there is no final agreement, no top line number, no sort of plan for Democrats to come together to pass these 2 bills. Now, the House is planning to vote Monday on that massive infrastructure package, but it's not clear they have the votes to pass it. Progressives say that they won't get behind the tax bill unless there's this accompanying social spending plan that the president wants to pass, and it's not clear how those two things will be reconciled going forward. Now we expect lawmakers to talk to each other this weekend. White House aides are expected to man the phones this weekend as well. President Biden is up at Camp David, and I would also expect him to get on the phone with lawmakers if that becomes necessary. His schedule has mostly been cleared out for the start of next week as these talks proceed. Now, bottom line here, we're ending last week basically where we started it. No agreement on how things to come together. The president did speak with lawmakers in the Oval Office this week. One thing that's frustrating him, I think, is this inability to get moderates to say exactly where they stand, exactly what they want to see in this final bill. And you heard him talk a little bit about that yesterday. Listen.
What are your priorities? And several of them, when they go through their priorities, it adds up to a number higher than they said they were for. Because I think this is we're getting down to the hard spot here. People are having now to go in and look in detail as to what it is specifically they're for.
Now, we're told the president also spoke to Democratic leaders in Congress yesterday. The White House said that there was broad agreement on the principles, but that's not sounding anything close to a final agreement, guys.
Kevin Liptak from the White House, thank you so much. So coming up next, the Republican Arizona audit results are in, and they confirm the obvious. Joe Biden won the 2020 election, but that's not stopping yet another state. From attempting its own audit.
Also, many Haitian migrants have already been deported back to their home country after crossing the U.S.-Mexican border. Well, when we come back...
What makes new Salonpas arthritis gel so good for arthritis pain? Salonpas contains the most prescribed topical pain relief ingredient. It's clinically proven, reduces inflammation, and comes in original prescription strength. Salon... It's good medicine.
Severe storm damage can cost thousands in repairs. Hi, Phil Swift here. This storm season, you need the entire Flex Seal family of products. Make fast, easy, on-the-spot repairs. Seal up cracks and holes to prevent wind and water from damaging your home. Push Flex Base deep into wet surfaces. To help prevent flood damage and make quick automotive repairs. Get the Flex Seal family of products at these fine retailers.
Attention runners, report to the starting line. Runners, report to the starter.
You don't become a runner who breaks 8 world records after age 65 without a serious support system. Kathy Martin has one in Medicare from Blue Cross Blue Shield. She won't go a day without the right card because she can't go a day without running. The Medicare coverage trusted by more doctors. This is the benefit of Blue. Learn more at benefitblue.com.
76 Steelers.
70-18 was better. We argue like